I love the experience that we provide over at the Sportsbook. I have a great team. We put all the events on. We put the audio on for the big games. It's a fun environment. And between us, the staff, and our regulars that we have, it's probably my favorite part of the job.
Thanks for joining us on Louisiana's Playground Podcast, your roadmap to all things Lake Charles, Louisiana. I'm Brady Raynard.
And I'm Anna Strider. We are excited to continue to bring you the authentic stories and experiences of Southwest Louisiana, giving you all the tools you need to build your personal Lake Charles itinerary. And it's episode 25, so we've been doing it now nearly a year.
A quarter of the way to episode 100. How about that?
How about that? With all that math we seem to be doing, counting down 21st birthdays on the podcast, sweet 16s, you'd think that we were really aging this baby here.
It's catching up to me very quickly.
You and me both.
We'll welcome on Brandon Hartwig of Horseshoe Casino. He is the manager there at the Caesars Sportsbook within the casino. Before we continue the conversation, as we always do with Envy Eats, I wanted to take a moment to announce a special, very bittersweet announcement. This is the last episode that Anna Strider will be gracing us with her presence. 25 episodes, a few other special episodes, and we say goodbye, Anna, in episode 25 after nearly a full year of being my right-handed woe-man here on the podcast.
It's one thing that I've been saying it recently, but to hear the words coming out of your mouth, Brady, it's really making it real at this point that unfortunately, this is not only the final episode here with you all on the podcast, Louisiana's Playground. It is the end of my time here at Visit Lake Charles, and unfortunately, it is the end of my time here in this incredible community of Southwest Louisiana.
I still can't believe you got fired.
I mean, I've been messing up this whole time. I'm waiting for the bad reviews to roll in.
Of course, she wasn't fired. She's going on to the next and greatest thing in her life as she follows her dreams and passions, which is
a luxury bed and breakfast. I have been talking about being in the bed and breakfast space, one day running one or owning one, preferably owning, since I was 15 years old, and this opportunity came up, and it is one that, life's short. You just can't pass up great opportunities. So it has been a easy decision in my heart, but a tough decision in my mind.
So when are we going to get the Bed, Breakfast, and podcast?
Stay tuned.
Okay, I figured.
Yes, I'll shout out Louisiana's Playground. All of you all who have been listening to us here, you'll have to come listen as I air from Texas, just outside of Houston, at the historic Hill House Bed and Breakfast there. So you can either listen to me or you can come stay a night. I mean, we've got options.
I want to milk this goodbye just a little bit longer and ask you a couple of questions, if you don't mind. What over this last year, this podcast journey, and hearing from people in the community that talk about it, and the people that we brought on, what's maybe your big takeaway, do you feel like, from this last year or so?
There's so many big takeaways. Being in Lake Charles in Southwest Louisiana the last year and a half, and getting to do what we do, not only in this space for the podcast, but at Visit Lake Charles as an organization, we get to have so many incredible experiences as a visitor, but also as a local, because we're here. And the one constant that has been true across the board from everyone that we meet with, that we talk with, from the servers at the restaurants to the people that I pass in my neighborhood walking my dog, everyone in between, the thing that this community has is passionate, loving, welcoming people that are just one of a kind. The people here in Southwest Louisiana, we've heard it on the show before from numerous different guests, from visitors that come to the area, and of course the locals and residents here. And you all as the community have welcomed me with open arms and just made this such an incredible experience. I sure haven't quite felt like the Virginia gal here, much more like the Louisiana resident I have been for the last 8 years. And that's because of the people.
Yeah, and I think that's something that it always makes me appreciate the state is when you hear people talk about, well, I moved here or I vacationed here or I've spent some time, and it's always those words, but I didn't feel like a stranger.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what makes every experience in the state a fun one. And guys, this is authentic. I'm not selling anything like that. That is from my experience and those that I've talked to, and Anna's going to feel the same way. And that's one thing that makes me really proud about our state, is that exact reason.
I would absolutely agree. And it's been getting to know all these locals and telling the stories of the people here has been one of the most memorable things that I've had the opportunity to do. It's, of course, the people that we've talked about that have made Southwest Louisiana so special, but I would be remiss if we didn't talk about what every episode starts with, and most of them come around back to, which is food. So as I'm moving out of the state of Louisiana, I figured, what's the one burning question you all might have about the food?
And it's, do you know how to make gumbo?
No, that's still on my list. But I'm going to listen back to that episode while I'm making it as a little reminiscing moment. It's actually what my favorite Louisiana food is. Do you know, Brady?
My guess would be etouffee.
You're correct, but not any.
And that was a guess, by the way. It's not like I have some insider knowledge and I already knew this. That was a legit guess, so I win.
We'll go with that. Maybe hours of dining together over the course of the last year might give it away. But specifically crawfish etouffee, because crawfish, you can only get it here, as we've talked about. And etouffee, I mean, you just can't go wrong. So it's a meal that I did not grow up with, but I can tell you, I will never go without it again.
Butter sauce, how do you beat it, right?
You don't.
Well, you were such a vital part to our team here, and obviously more than just vital to our podcast. You got the whole thing up and going, and of course, despite us bringing on the next big co-host, you may have heard of him, Joe Rogan. Yes, he will be my co-host moving forward. Of course, I'm kidding. No one will ever be able to replace you. A part of this podcast will be forever archived as the Anna Strider episodes, and so we thank you so much for your time, obviously, here in creating what we're really proud of bringing these experiences to people all across Louisiana and, of course, the country, and even if you're listening internationally by any chance. And so we appreciate all the conversations that we've had with you up to this point. Well, I think that's a perfect segue now as we continue the show. Our final episode, obviously, here with Anna, and also means it's ours, Anna and I's, final Envy Eats together.
That's right. And just like we always do, we go out into the community and we dine at a restaurant and then bring you all the details about everything we ate and enjoyed about the restaurant. And this time, we went to the Brew Brothers located in the Horseshoe Casino property.
And attached right there to the Caesars Sportsbook. It opened with the casino back in January. They're open late nights on Fridays and Saturday. And they really sell a kind of casual pub fare style food. They've got their craft beers, more than 16 of them on tap. They rotate out. They've got burgers and appetizers, pizza, salads, so much more. The big selling point in there, there are multiple TVs. There are areas where you can kind of sit privately and watch the games. So much to do inside the restaurant, so much to see, and the food pretty good too.
And they're located within the casino floor. So it's a great spot to pop in, grab a bite to eat, and go right back out onto the floor there. When you come into the restaurant, it's got these brick walls, almost elegant pub feel, very much upgraded casual seating, but of course, your sportsbook atmosphere. And it was the perfect place for us to go in and have our final Envy Eats together. I did not get a salad this time.
Color me shocked.
I had the fried chicken club sandwich on a perfectly toasted Texas toast, and then I love a good club sandwich, so to have it with the fried chicken aspect really hit the spot. That came with delicious fries, and I'm a picky fry eater, and these definitely were good. Of course, it had the Brew Brothers sauce on it, so you can't go wrong.
I was shocked at how tall that sandwich was. I mean, the knife that they put in it, there was almost no knife left.
It's like one of those burgers that you see
Yeah,
where it's like stacked up, but it was
it was
a
like
club
chicken, cheese,
sandwich.
avocado, bacon, lettuce, tomatoes, and like it was tall. And
It
so
was
I was really impressed.
almost as tall as me.
Yeah, yeah. The sandwich itself is almost as tall as Anna. I, meanwhile, got the surf and turf Cajun pasta, which was a really interesting take on the pasta, being that there was chicken, sausage, and shrimp. It was a very cheesy kind of Cajun, buttery, cheesy sauce. Overall, awesome. I threw some hot sauce on it because I put hot sauce on everything I eat, and it paired so well. And then, of course, for dessert, you knew we had to do it. Another bread pudding to add to the list, and boy, this one was good. It's kind of a very traditional bread pudding with a rum sauce there on top. They serve it with some strawberries and whipped cream on the side, which pairs so well when you kind of do that triple bite with one of each in there. A very cinnamony bread pudding. It had a great texture to it, very crispy on the outside, soft and a nice fluff there on the inside. I mean, this was a very solid piece of bread pudding.
I'm going to echo everything Brady said and confirm that we did not leave anything on that plate. There was barely spoon marks from eating that bread pudding. It really hit the spot. It was a perfect final dessert for our Envy Eats.
And as we mentioned, Brew Brothers, conveniently located off the casino floor in the Horseshoe Casino, which, of course, is just off I-10, either just after the bridge if you're headed westbound or just before the bridge if you're going eastbound, right there in Westlake.
Pop into the Horseshoe Casino, bet on an upcoming football game, and tell us what you think.
From a great meal to a great guest, we welcome on Brandon Hartwig, the sportsbook manager at Horseshoe here in Lake Charles. He has been a industry veteran in the sports betting industry since 2019, started in Las Vegas, and now has ended up all the way here in Lake Charles. He's outside of the sports betting realm. He's also got a passion for fitness, traveling. Believe it or not, Anna, he also likes sports, huh? How about that?
That's
Welcome to the
wild.
show, Brandon.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. We're excited to talk to you today and really discuss the great amenities that Southwest Louisiana has here. You mentioned you were in Vegas. We like to say, we're kind of the southern Vegas here as far as all of the casino properties, and this is going to be a really fun conversation. But before we start that conversation, we're going to ask you a few questions to get to know you a little bit better and how you play in Southwest Louisiana. Are you ready? You ready?
Let's do it.
All right. The first one. Now, these are tough, okay? Crawfish or gumbo?
Crawfish.
Why crawfish?
Crawfish quickly became addicted. I just like getting together with the friends and having some beers and just
having a good time.
Yeah.
And there's nothing like it, right?
Yeah.
That's true. Very Louisiana centric there. Okay, the next one. Poolside or beachside?
Beachside.
Okay. Why beach?
So for 17 years, I lived in Siesta Key and Bradenton, Florida. So I've just been spoiled with amazing beaches, and that's just my getaway where I can relax and recenter myself.
Truly unplug. That's a great answer. I would be a beach person too. Well, I am, but I'd be 100% if I lived by the beach too. Okay, our final one. Concert or comedy show?
Concert.
Concert. Okay, what type of music do you like?
I like country music. I like classic rock, alternative. I like just about anything, though.
And look, now that we've kind of got to know you a little bit better and know that you didn't pick gumbo, which is always a strike one on my list. But
Clearly we have the gumbo fan and the crawfish fan.
It happens. So let's talk about all that the Horseshoe has to offer, as from whether you're staying, playing, or maybe even sports betting as well. As a whole, what do you feel like that the Horseshoe really prides itself on the most?
Definitely family style service. So every single guest that comes in, it's very important to us that they feel like they're a part of the family. Our slogan is, "We are all Caesars." That's very important. So I'd say that's probably the thing we pride ourselves most in. A secondary answer would be Caesars Rewards program is one of the best. And I don't know that as a customer or a guest, but I know that from the feedback I've gotten countless times.
And I think it's important to nod to, you guys work at Horseshoe, but the Caesars, they're part of the sports book, and it's all part of the same family. Explain that family to us.
Well, Caesars is our parent company. So even though we are named Horseshoe, we are still a Caesars property. It's not Caesars Palace, as you would know in Vegas, but there's a Horseshoe Las Vegas that just recently opened. We're all underneath the same umbrella, the same parent company.
And I'm glad you mentioned the slogan, "We are Caesars," because those commercials, Caesars advertises heavy here in the state, and those commercials with the Mannings and with JB Smoove as the Caesar, those are amazing.
Yeah, they are very comical, very intriguing.
That was
My
in my-
favorite, the charades, when they do the whole slogan about what the sports book does, and he says, "Dude, that was 27 words."
It got the point across. While we were preparing, Brady was like, "You need to go Google the commercials." And I sure did, and I was cracking up. So I was like, well played there. Well played on Caesars there. Tells a great story, too, especially I like the one where they're walking through the casino and kind of pointing out everything, and it ends on food, which everything ends on food, and figure out how to get that experience here. And I know a lot of the things that you all are doing at Horseshoe Lake Charles and bringing on different partnerships and expansion and just so many great things that are coming to the Horseshoe itself.
Yeah, so we have a lot of great things coming. I mean, we have a lot of great things now. With the sportsbook being a great amenity, we have the Brew Brothers restaurant. We have the 7-7 Noodles Bar, which is a very delicious Asian cuisine restaurant. We have sliced pizza.
I've heard amazing things about that pizza.
Yeah, it's pretty
Amazing
great.
things about that pizza.
It's
It's
pretty
on my
great.
to-taste list.
To taste list.
To-taste list.
I need a to-taste list.
We'll start writing.
The big one that I think that a lot of people have circled is Mr. Hell's Kitchen himself, Gordon Ramsay.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, so that's coming. I think the last I heard, it's going to be here mid-November. Yeah, Gordon Ramsay Steakhouse. That's going to be very amazing. I can't wait. We're going to be adding a pool here shortly. We also have several other restaurants that we're working on putting in. I know we have a lot of things to come in terms of entertainment and food.
And that's awesome. And this time of the year, nothing brings entertainment and food together quite like football, right? What is it like experiencing sports? And look, let's get in particular football at the sportsbook there.
I love the experience that we provide over at the Sportsbook. I have a great team. They're always willing to help out and educate beginning sports bettors that love sports but don't necessarily know what they're doing. We put all the events on. We put the audio on for the big games. It's definitely it's a fun environment. And between us, the staff, and our regulars that we have, it really is a fun, great time. And it's probably my favorite part of the job.
Luckily for just about anyone in that scene around the state this year, the Saints are a complete wild card with what they've got going on, and LSU could be in for their best season in a few years. So there's a lot of excitement just from the local teams here in the state as well that just obviously is going to play into what that atmosphere is going to be on Saturdays and Sundays.
Yeah, no doubt. In addition, I know the Texans have had their issues recently, but that division's wide open, so we have a lot of people
You
coming in.
get two picks in the top three. That's going to create some
It's-
excitement too,
yes,
huh?
definitely. So all the local teams have been producing a lot of different guests, placing different types of bets of all sorts. And really, I mean, anything's possible. That's the beauty of sports.
And I want to talk about the sports side of it. The pieces, when you walk in to the restaurant, it is this expansive space with multiple different screens going on. You've got the large bar area. And then are there places that you can rent like a group and kind of lounge and nice chairs there to have your own personal television?
Yeah, so we actually have what we call them fan caves.
Ooh, I like it.
Yeah, so you can rent out your own personal fan cave. We have 2 on the Sportsbook patio. We also have 3 that are more secluded, more cave-like. Inside Brew Brothers restaurant, each fan cave comes with a couch, a couple other comfy chairs, and then 3 TVs. So if you are on a college football Saturday and there's 3 games on that you want to watch or you have action on, we can put all 3 of them on for you.
Talk about a great way to hang out with the guys on the weekend. I do want to make sure we don't get ahead of ourselves. We've been talking so much about sports betting. As someone who's not necessarily hip with what sports betting exactly is, What is that, and why is Louisiana so special right here in Southwest Louisiana, of why sports betting and coming in person? Like, what is that experience?
It's been almost a year that I've been down here in Southwest Louisiana. So, one thing that I learned quickly is how passionate the fans are about their teams. And there's multiple different teams in the area. So, it's not just one team, but I know that they get very excited.
Yeah, and when it comes to sports betting, it still is a really new thing here in Louisiana, being that it just got legalized not too long ago. Can you, in a nutshell, kind of explain sports betting to us for someone that maybe walks up? So let's say someone new walks up to the desk. How do you kind of communicate this is kind of what your options are?
Yeah, so we have what's called odds display boards, which is very helpful. So if anyone were to ever come up to the counter and inquired or wanted to learn, we have plenty of examples right behind us on a big, beautiful display board. I'd say there's 6 bets that are your most common. You have your money lines, you have your spreads, and you have your point totals. So right there on the boards, we can go through and explain what each one is. We can explain to you what the different odds are, what the payouts would be. It's pretty basic and simple. And as soon as I don't know, it doesn't take long, 3-4 minutes explaining it. It all clicks. It's a very simple thing. It does look intimidating at first, but it's an extremely simple mindset to grasp. And once you do and you pair that with your love for sports, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I know for my quick research that I did on sports betting, I got that the better team is a lesser payout when betting, and the riskier team it would be a higher payout. Am I right on that?
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
So
So,
we call those underdogs, and people do love their underdogs because if you parlay them together and do different things, that's what pretty much produces the big lottery ticket payout. So there's different strategies you can take. There's a lot of ways to do it. The favorites, to your point, they're going to produce less of a payout. A little fun fact that most people don't really know, I would imagine, would be the odds are determined by probability of outcome. So let's say a minus 400 favorite, without having a calculator right next to me, I'd say they're 98% probability to win that event, whatever it is. So you're already in the driver's seat. So yeah, you're not going to be rewarded with much of a payout if you're taking who's already predicted to win.
that makes sense.
Yeah, so there's a lot of different ways to kind of change that, and that's what's really fun. The more you kind of dive into it, the more rewarding that experience is in terms of how you take teams. And yeah, I dove into it plenty since it's become legalized.
Not at
But
all.
no, just
I would have
I've
never
dabbled.
guessed.
I've dabbled. So it really is a lot of fun. And with that, are there any notable bets that you guys have taken or that you've seen, whether it's ones that went to the wire almost, or maybe even the amount of money that was there? Some of the fun ones that you remember saying, like, okay, this was one that really got us all kind of on the edge of our seats while we were there.
Well, yeah, of course, and several people might be aware. We've definitely taken. I've taken a $2 million bet.
$2 million.
Yeah,
$2
and
million.
yeah,
I just can't fathom that. That's incredible.
yeah. So we're here to however much money you got, come throw it on the counter, and we'll take your action. So
Well stated. Take your action. I like that.
And I know Mattress Mac was one of the first ones that made a large bet there. I think he took the Houston Cougars in the NCAA tournament at 16-1. I think he put $1 million or so. So that payout would have been huge. I wish I was comfortable enough to come to the table and slam down a briefcase of $1 million.
yeah, I don't know if I would be capable of doing that myself, but
Hey, where
I
there's a
guess if
will,
you
there's
have
a
it, then
way.
yeah.
There's been just so many great things at the Horseshoe. I know y'all have only been open 7 to 8 months, but it feels like you've already been here and all the excitement. I know there's so much more going on, but what has this first few months been like for you all opening up and really being able to welcome guests back to the property?
It's been tough at times because we know what the end goal is. We know what the product's going to be long term, and we're not quite there yet. We do have, as mentioned before, we have a lot of awesome amenities and very delicious restaurants coming to be added. But to speak for the opening, and where we've been thus far. We've heard a lot of good feedback. A lot of people compare, obviously, the old Isle of Capri, and they're just blown away with how beautiful our casino is. And I'd say that we get the other compliment that I get often is that our team across the board, it really buys into that family style service. So I think as of right now, in the first 7 to 8 months, I'd say that it's a beautiful property. The rooms are beautiful, and we give great service, and that's a great start. And there's only more and more to come.
Yeah, that's a great foundation to be built on. And I can echo those beautiful design of the building. It's gorgeous.
This next 7 to 8 months, I know we've touched on some of the things upcoming, but if we could kind of run through some of the most exciting advancements coming our way there.
I know recently we've really ramped up some of the promotions that we do with our marketing department. The months are just filled with different promotions. I know one, for example, that's coming up. If you're a Caesars Rewards member and you're playing, the earning begins September 1st, and we're doing a giveaway of a boat on September 30th. So plenty more of those to come.
We're so happy to have the Horseshoe here in the community, and y'all have been doing so many great things. There's so much going on now, including partnerships like you all have with the Louisiana Food and Wine Festival, which we talked about a few episodes ago. The proximity of this particular property is fantastic. It's right over the bridge, located to so much going on downtown. You can easily get to other parts of the Lake Charles community, and even Sam Houston Jones State Park, that's right up the road as well. So many things to do while you're in the area, coming to place your sports bets and make a long weekend of it at the Horseshoe. We're just really excited to have y'all here.
Something else that I just want to touch on is upcoming. We have NFL Sunday opening day is going to be Thursday night, September 7th. We have LSU's opening night versus Florida State, which is on September 3rd.
Oh, that's a big one.
Opening day for college football is Saturday, September 2nd. So here, right around the corner, we have football back. And as I mentioned earlier as well, we have fan caves that can be reserved. I know it's going to be a great time, so definitely get those booked.
Thanks again for Brandon and the Horseshoe for joining us here on the show, and thank you for taking time out of your day to join us here on the podcast. If you enjoyed Louisiana's Playground Podcast, please leave us a rating or a review wherever you get your podcasts, and maybe even leave a little crying sad face that this is Anna's last time to grace us with her presence.
Yes, you will all be missed, and I will definitely miss you all, as this is the last episode that I will be on the show. So thank you all for listening, laughing, and joining us as we have made almost a year. I'm going to almost count it at 25 episodes on Louisiana's Playground. So head on over to visitLakeCharles.org/podcast to listen to more episodes and find out what is happening next for Louisiana's Playground. I'm Anna Strider.
And I'm Brady Reynard. See you.